Hi, everyone. We'll begin the webinar in 2 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we are sorry for the delay. We have Roshan from Ingram Micro, who will take us through the webinar, which is on the topic of guard your SaaS data with NetApp Cloud Control.
Hello, everyone. I hope everybody is able to hear me now clearly. Unfortunately, we are facing some technical difficulties here with respect to audio. I see a lot of people are not able to hear, so just bear with me for another minute or two, and I'm sure we will be able to start. And great. So I see that people are able to hear the webinar now. So let's get started. So let me start from the beginning. So today's session is on how we can use NetApp Cloud Control to guard our software as a service data. My name is Roshan. I work with Ingram Micro as a technical consultant, taking care of Microsoft technologies, which include Office 365, Azure. I do work on IBM Cloud as well. Today's session, we would cover what are the common software as a service challenges that we see in today's market. We'll see how cloud control works with one of the popular software as a service offerings from Microsoft, which is Office 365. We'll have a quick demonstration of the product, what are the pricings, and of course, what is the next action for you as resellers. If you're interested to take the solution to your customers, what is the next action? So let's get started with the customer challenges. Now, most of you already know that when it comes to cloud, one of the biggest selling strategy by most vendors today is software as a service. We have a lot of surveys done by many companies, and we see that more than 85% of applications will be delivered using software as a service model, where everything is hosted, managed by the vendor, and you as a reseller or an end customer can just subscribe to the service, pay as he uses, and make use of the features that the particular product gives. Now, when it comes to software as a service and comparison of it with an on-premise market, software as a service pretty much would take over 85% of the market share, where every other application that we use today would be delivered via the cloud as a pay-as-you-go and pay-as-you-use basis. Now, since there is a huge, massive growth in software as a service, there are certain challenges with it. People normally assume that as soon as you put data onto cloud, or if you're getting services from cloud, your data is secure. The answer is both yes and no. How is it yes? The data is definitely secure. The vendor definitely makes sure that the servers which are offering the service are always up and running. Your data is always encrypted and stored on their servers. No other customer is able to look into the data that you have. So these are the responsibilities of the vendor. But on the actual data itself, it is your responsibility, which means what you do with your data. Do you upload data? Do you move the data from one location to another location? Do you share the data with people? Or if you accidentally or intentionally delete the data, all these operations are customers or users' responsibility. Hence, it is essential to make sure that your data is safe and secure by protecting your data and making sure that there are no accidental deletions or changes to your data. One of the easiest ways of making sure you have protection for your data is having a backup. If you have a backup, you can always go back in history, get the data, and restore it. Data retention is also very, very important. There are instances where users can delete the data permanently, and you will not be able to recover when the data is required. And in terms of security, sharing the data or having malicious insiders who might delete the data without the notice of the owner. So these are some of the challenges that we see in today's market for software as a service. Another statistics talking about the data loss, we have seen synchronization issues. I'm sure most of you have faced this, people who are syncing files to Office 365 or using Outlook to connect to Office 365 do face synchronization issues. And these are times where there are times when the data is accidentally deleted on one side and the data also gets deleted on the source, right? So this becomes a very big issue and can cause a lot of problems for a company. End users purge their own data. Now, a classic example for this is when an user or an employee leaves the company, what we see is he actually goes ahead, archives his data or deletes his data from the server, uh, which is not a good practice, right? So how do we stop users from deleting the server data directly from the server or archiving so that others do not have access to it? That is something that we'll discuss further in today's session. Ransomware attack. We have, I'm sure everybody has heard of WannaCry ransomware, which encrypts the data. Now, these attacks are done directly on the end user computing and which can affect your email systems, right? Hence, it is very, very essential, very important to make sure that you have another copy securely stored so that no ransomware attacks can destroy that particular data. Insider threat, as I explained earlier, there might be instances where one user may accidentally go ahead and delete uh, data of some other user without his notice. So these instances do happen, and as owner of the data or owner of the company, we have to make sure that all the data is secure at all the times. The last one is rogue administrator. Well, let's say if you have an administrator who doesn't really take care of his username and password, right? Let's say he shares his username and password with other users. It is very, very it becomes a very wrong practice because administrators' username and password can be used by anybody to gain access to applications and maybe even delete the data. These are some of the common data loss scenarios that we have come across, and I'm sure our end customers, our resellers have faced one or more of these issues. And let's see how NetApp can actually help you overcome these issues with their product. One quick slide before we talk about the particular solution. Shared responsibility. Now, this is a very important slide for end customers and resellers to understand. Always remember that a vendor, whether it is Microsoft, Amazon, or any cloud provider, they always take care in terms of security and data so that they match their SLA. So, for example, Microsoft Office 365 has an SLA of 99.9% uptime, which means they will make sure that there is no hardware failure, there is no application failure, or there is no data center outages. This is what their SLA means. What happens to the data that you have control of or which you are using, that is completely your responsibility, which means that you need to make sure that the right policies are in place, the files put on SharePoint are being backed up, the files on OneDrive are shared securely with people. This is all a customer's responsibility, and hence it is very important to educate our customers also about these topics. What are the customer needs these days? Data in Office 365 needs protection. This is something that we have to educate the customer about. We spoke about some of the reasons, right? Ransomware attack, synchronization issues, malicious insider, rogue administrator. These are some of the reasons why it is important that even though your data is on a financially guaranteed uptime server, you still need to make sure your actual data is secure and you have additional protection to it. Achieve business continuity with secure cloud backup. The easiest way to make sure that you are safe and secure is to have a secondary copy of your data. And how is it possible? Using a backup solution. Fast data restores. Having a backup is half the battle won. The other half would be whenever you need to restore your data, you should be able to do it quick and easily. minimize risks and costs of downtime, which is the most important for any customer. In case anything is deleted, he should be able to restore it quickly, easily, and get back to business as soon as possible. Agility to be responsive to changing business objectives. Now, people go to cloud because they get the option of selection or options, right? They are able to pick and choose various options. They can select which works for them, which doesn't work. It's not one size fit all. It is options that you have, and even the solution should be able to respect the options that the customer picks and be able to provide the security and protection that the customer demands for. So let's look at NetApp Cloud Control Service. So we spoke about how Office 365 work, how vendors work, what are the SLAs that they carry, what is their responsibility and customers' responsibility. And one of the easiest way is to make sure we have a backup for Office 365. One of such backup solutions, which is extremely easy to use, not very expensive, a SaaS offering again, which means you don't need to install anything on a server or build a server for this particular product. And that product is NetApp Cloud Control. So what is NetApp Cloud Control? NetApp Cloud Control is a software as a service offering from NetApp. And this software as a service offering is designed to provide a backup as a service for your Office 365, which means it is a service created by NetApp dedicatedly for Office 365 backup operations. It provides not just backup, but also restore, granular restore options. In the further coming slides and also in the demo, you will see how I can drill up and drill down the content which I've backed up, and I'm able to restore even a single email, a single attachment, or a single document from the entire backup that I have taken. So Office 365 is one of the most popular email hosting service that people use today. NetApp Cloud Control, or NetApp as a company, is very well known for their storage devices, and hence they have come out with a product called Cloud Control, which integrates with Office 365. And the best part is you can also integrate Microsoft Azure, which provides storage solution. So now you have a product which is software as a service, which is able to connect Office 365, take the backup of it, and again store it on another cloud offering from Microsoft, which is Azure. So in this entire solution setup, you see that a customer does not need to invest anything for an on-prem data center, or for an on-prem storage, or for an on-prem server. Everything happens over cloud. There are multiple advantages for it, which means that it is very fast, it is very secure, and it can scale to any extent that the customer demands it to. So how does it work? Cloud Control as a service is very quick, very easy to set up. I will show it to you in the demonstration in the next coming slides. It has a very simple licensing model. It can take backup of all Office 365 services. This is very important to know, because there are a lot of products and solutions available in the market that Cloud Control competes with, but this is one of the product which has a very simple licensing model, and it can take backup of all Office 365 services, including Office 365 groups, OneDrive, SharePoint, and of course Exchange. It can dump the backup data onto either Amazon or Microsoft Azure. Now the integration with Microsoft Azure is much more seamless, and hence we would encourage customers to use Microsoft Azure, and also I will show that in a particular demonstration now. Let's see how combining Office 365 and NetApp makes a lot of sense. Now, as most of you know, Office 365 does not provide a backup option at all, right? So there is no backup for emails or for SharePoint or for anything for that matter, right? there is no way, in case you delete an email, there is no way to recover it after 14 or 30 days. It is permanently deleted. And even if you open a support ticket with Microsoft, Microsoft support will only restore the emails back to the same, or may actually override the emails when they restore. So let's say you deleted an email 3 months ago and you call Microsoft, Microsoft will say, yes, we can restore. Either we'll restore to a new mailbox, which means you need an additional license, or we'll restore to the existing mailbox, which means you lose the latest 3 months of email. So it becomes a very tricky situation for a customer to decide, how do I recover the data? With cloud control, he has peace of mind. He can back up all the services, everything can be scheduled, and whenever required, he can drill up, drill down to any level and restore specific items that he requires. Benefits of cloud control: it is completely agentless. There is nothing that you need to install on end users' machines, or there is no configuration, special configurations that you have to do on Office 365 side. All you need to provide is an account with suitable permissions, and that's it. It will be able to connect to Office 365, it will be able to connect to Azure, combine these two products and provide you a seamless way of backing up data and restoring it as well. Provides flexibility. You can go ahead and not only back up, you can even archive data to a very large extent. You have complete control on the data, which means you can technically search within the backup which you have taken. You can do an e-discovery search and even export the data out of cloud control and store it locally if required. There are situations where a customer might demand, saying that I would want certain emails, let's say emails from 1st of January to 10th of January to be exported and given to him as a PST, right? These are possible. Or if a customer comes back to you saying, from 1st of February to 5th of February, some of my emails are missing, I might have accidentally deleted it, we can use NetApp Cloud Control to search for that emails and restore, or even export them and provide it back to the customer. What are the values that it provides? It's a completely automated solution. It can go ahead, back up from Office 365 and store it onto Azure, provides flexibility, has advanced search and browse options, and use cases are numerous, right? So you can talk about how you can get data of an employee who has left the company 3 months ago, or you can back up data of all the employees and have peace of mind and not worry about employees purging the data. Target market: any customer who is using Office 365. It can be a customer who is wanting to go on to Office 365, or a customer who would or who has already purchased Office 365 and looking to provide or looking for a better protection solution or a security solution. Even for you as a resellers, NetApp Cloud Control is a value add that you can give to your customers, because the first year when they go ahead and buy Office 365, it's a service that you're offering. But the next year when it comes to renewal, unless you provide an additional value to your customers, you lose that stickiness with the customer. So it's important that you provide such solutions to the customer so that they look at you as a trusted advisor and continue to work with you. A quick comparison of Cloud Control with other solutions that are available in the market. As you can see, Cloud Control has pretty much all the required features that an enterprise organization requires. It is a software as a service subscription model. You can only pay for what you're using. You have user grouping. You even have advanced search functionalities within the product, which allows you to go ahead and search across all the across all the backups that it has taken and perform a restore operation. So a really good solution when you compare it with its key competition in the market. This is a slide that talks about the special promotion offer that we have come out with. As you can see, we have 3 packages made available: 50 users, 100 users, and 500 users. Do keep in mind the Azure storage cost is also included in this. For 50 users, for a small organization, for 50 users plus 1 TB of Azure storage will just cost you $1,626. Right? So for a 50 user company, if the IT invests $1,600, they are protected with the best software and the best storage platform available in today's market. For medium, for 100 users, we have combined 2 terabyte of storage with 100 NetApp Cloud Control licenses. For enterprise, for 500 seats, we have combined 5 TB of storage with 500 NetApp Cloud Control licenses. So I'll repeat, each of the packages has Azure storage combined with it. The small package has 1 TB storage, medium package has 2 TB storage, and enterprise package has 5 TB storage as part of the cost. If you're interested, you can definitely get in touch with Ingram Micro NetApp team or even Microsoft team, and they should be able to help you size your opportunities and provide you the best price possible. But these are the promotions offers. I would definitely encourage you to get in touch with our Ingram Micro NetApp team or Microsoft team, and they will help you with sizing and designing of the solution. What are the questions to ask for a customer in order to start positioning this particular solution? Very simple questions. Do you use Office 365 or are you planning to use Office 365? I would say every Office 365 customer today should look at a backup option. And when you have a solution which offers you best-in-class features at a very reasonable price, it becomes a preferred option. So definitely go ask your customers, are they using Office 365 or planning to use Office 365? If they're already using Office 365, how are they protecting their Office 365? It also involves a certain level of educating your customers. Your customers may or may not know that Microsoft does not guarantee the data recoverability. Microsoft only guarantees the uptime of the service. So it is a little education that you have to provide to your customers in order for them to realize why they should go ahead and look for a good backup solution. So do make sure that you speak with your customers, educate them on why should they protect their Office 365. And of course, when they're using Office 365 and are convinced of buying a backup solution, why don't we sell a backup solution that actually covers all Office 365 services, right? So it makes a lot of sense for a customer to buy one product that does Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, Groups, all backup, rather than picking up solutions that back these up individually. So these are some of the questions that you can go ask your customers, see what kind of interest they have, and if you need any information or any support in terms of marketing or in terms of technical assistance, you can definitely reach out to our NetApp team or to our Microsoft team, and we'll be more than glad to assist you. So just to summarize, Cloud Control from Microsoft, Cloud Control from NetApp offers us a simple, flexible option to take backup of your Office 365. It's an automated software. It's a software as a service offering, which lets you take backup of all your Office 365 data and store it on Microsoft Azure. So next, we will share you this particular slide, which has a lot of resources that we have. And before I end the session, I would like to show a quick demonstration of this particular product. So, as I said, NetApp Cloud Control is a software as a service product, which means all I need is a simple internet connection, and I will be able to go ahead and log into my NetApp Cloud Control and be able to backup, configure, create policies, and do all the operations. So the URL is cloudcontrol.netapp.com. So it'll just take a minute or two to open up the website. Just double check if I'm putting the right website. So this is the login page that I get. Now, as you can see, all I need for me to log in is an Office 365 account or a NetApp SSO account. If you're already an existing NetApp-based reseller, or if you're already an existing NetApp customer, then you can definitely use your NetApp single sign-on option. Or for most of the generic scenarios, it will be Office 365. So all you need to do is log in with your Office 365 global admin credential. I repeat, the account that is required for configuring is the global admin, which has access to all the Office 365 services that you have. So I've created a test Office 365 subscription for the sake of the demo. I will log in using that. Okay, so as you can see, I've logged into my Cloud Control console. Let me quickly run through some of the important bits of the console. On the left-hand side, there are various other software as a service offering from Cloud Control. You can integrate the same console for ONTAP Cloud, for Cloud Volumes, and Cloud Sync. On the menu on the left-hand side has dashboard, which is the page I'm on. It quickly shows what am I protecting. So I am protecting all the 4 services that Office 365 has to offer. I'm protecting some of my emails. Some are in pending state, some are unprotected. I even have some OneDrive for business sites which are unprotected. I have a SharePoint site which is unprotected, and I don't have any groups which I've created right now. If I go to services, as you can see, there is only one service that it has, which is Office 365, right? Which means that this backup solution from NetApp is currently exclusively built for Office 365 backup, and I can go ahead and take a backup of all these options, right? I've already created this particular service just to save time on the demo. In case you are interested to know how exactly the service can be created, it's a simple wizard. It's next, you put in the Office 365 credentials, you put in your Azure credentials, and that's it. It gets connected to both of them and it gives you this particular screen of then further configuring it. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and configure my Exchange mailboxes to be backed up. I'll click on Exchange, Microsoft Exchange Online. And I have 3 tiers backup policy. So I have certain backup policies which are already created. The tier 1 backup policy lets me take a backup every 12 hours. The tier 2 backup lets me take a backup every 18 hours, and tier T backup lets me take a backup every 24 hours. So you can place your mailboxes into any of these tiers. So for example, I will place all my CXO mailboxes into the first tier, which is every 12 hours, which means twice every day. I'll place my, let's say, managers, sales managers, accountants, all these, their mailboxes onto tier 2. And finally, the end users into tier 3. So you can distribute. You can place some of the SharePoint sites in tier 2, some in tier 1. It's an option that you have. So what I will do now is I'll go ahead, click on the unprotected mailboxes here and put some of the mailboxes into tier 2. Let's say, for example, Iron Man and Hulk, I'll go ahead and put them into tier 2. Let's say apply. And let's say Thor and Roy, I'll put them into tier 3. Right? So now I have made sure that all my mailboxes are protected. The next option is let me start the backup right now so that all my mailboxes are backed up and are available for restoration. So now you can see the status is active. I'll go to tier 2 and I'll say backup now, which means it will back up now and again after 18 hours, right? So I'll say confirm and I'll do the same for the 24 hours as well. I'll say backup now and confirm. I can do the same for other services. For example, if I go to SharePoint, again, I'll click on the unprotected sites. I can select the site and I can say, should it go to tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, right? As you can see, it is as simple as this. The entire setup would take 10 to 15 minutes, and then to configure the backup, another 10 to 15 minutes. It's as simple and as straightforward as it is. You can also check the time it takes. You can look at all the logs that it has created. It even has a really good reporting structure which shows who logged in, what did they do, what backup was started, what which particular service of Office 365 is getting backed up. Once the backup is completed, I will be able to do an e-discovery search. I'll be able to search through all the emails as well, right? Now, to search through all the emails, since I've just started the backup in this particular subscription, let me log into another subscription where the backup is already taken, and I'll show you how I can go through all the emails, search, export, and do various other operations. Okay, so this is the other subscription that I have of NetApp, where I already have protected several mailboxes. Right, so if I go to jobs, you can see I have done some backup operations. Out of 21, 8 failed, 13 successful. I can click on why it failed. I can look at something went wrong. You can contact the support team. I can even download the log as well, right? If I close this and if I go to the ones that were successful, I can even go ahead and do a search of that particular mailboxes as well. So for example, let me open up one of such emails and I will show you how I can go ahead and perform some search operations on it. So let me search for a particular mailbox. Okay, and here I am able to see all the emails. Now, if I need to restore all the emails, I can click on the email, click on restore. I can restore to the same mailbox, export as a PSD, or restore to another mailbox. So as you can see, it provides me the options to restore items. I can even go inside the email and even search for specific emails. For example, let's say if Amit says he wants an email sent to Shrikant, right? I can select this particular email and click to restore, right? I can go ahead, restore it to the same mailbox or to another mailbox. So all these options, I can go to sent items, I can scroll through all the emails that he has and restore only the emails which it is required by the particular user. I can do the same for other services of Office 365 as well. Okay. So this brings me to the end of the demonstration. I hope the session was helpful. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions, any queries, feel free to contact me or contact our cloud team. Let me put my name and email address in case you have any questions. You can definitely get in touch with me or the micro cloud or NetApp team so that they can provide you with all the service help that you require. So thank you very much for taking our time and attending the session. We apologize for the initial glitch that we had, and we make sure to deliver such good technical sessions in the near future. Thank you very much and have a great day. Yeah, stop broadcast.